If you're driving impaired, we will find you.
We will pull you over. We'll conduct a field sobriety test.
You will be given a breath test.
Then we'll arrest you and take you to jail.
And we will vigorously prosecute you.
Impaired driving is a dead end.
Impaired driving is definitely a dead end.
Dead end is a complete dead end.
Impaired driving is a dead end.
My name is Desmond Tuttle, and I was convicted of a DUI.
My name is Michael Meridian, and I've been charged 6 times with DUI, and I've been convicted 4 times.
My name is Patricia Lane, and I have a felony DUI.
Hi, I'm Seth Spicer, and I was convicted of operating under the influence.
My name is Norman Elliott Lind. I was convicted of driving under the influence.
Okay, hi, my name is Bill, and I was convicted of DUI.
My name is Steve Phillips. I was convicted of a DUI.
My name is Garrett Vent, and I was convicted of felony eluding, DUI, and reckless driving.
Hello, my name is Adam Johnson, and I've been convicted of a DUI.
Well, it just was a careless night of drinking, actually.
Just drinking, went to the bar.
I just got done drinking, and of course he was driving on the back roads and was still on the dirt road.
And it was time to go home, so we got in the car. I jumped in the driver's seat.
Drinking, you know, you don't exactly pay attention to reason, and I drove home.
Bars closed, driving home.
Foolishly tried to get in a car and drive it when I had no business trying to drive.
And evidently I went through the sign instead of stopping completely.
And on my way to the house, I was making the final turn into my home, and a cop pulled us over a block and a half away from home.
So he flicked on his lights, turned around, and called me.
The police attempted to pull me over. I was under the influence. I decided to run, got in a high-speed chase.
I was literally a block away from my house and got pulled over.
Got away, parked the vehicle, and they found where I was, arrested me. And
as I sat in the back of the cop car,
when I came to trying to figure out what happened, I saw my car over there upside down. It didn't even register that it was my car.
Pissed off, upset and crying, in handcuffs.
Put me in handcuffs, and I resisted, and I was thrown to the ground.
Just asked me the normal questions and gave me the field sobriety. And
cops put me in handcuffs, stuck me in the back of a patrol car, and they don't have very much room back there.
The cops put me in handcuffs and put me in back of their patrol car.
He put me in handcuffs. I was still trying to figure out what was going on.
Watching a tow truck take your vehicle and thinking it's never coming back, and how much money is going by.
Then I was charged with resisting arrest, and they threw me in the back of the cop car and took me to jail.
Placed me in the handcuffs, started to walk me back to his car and read me my rights and sat me into the back of his car.
Put me in the car, and I was sitting there waiting for him to get in while he cleared the scene.
Of course, I went to jail.
And that's when it hit me that my car was totaled.
For a DUI, because I failed the breathalyzer.
The cops took me out of my car, did a field sobriety test, brought me to jail, and I was sitting in there for 40 days.
And got my DUI then.
The consequences, first of all, I found myself in jail.
Pretty bad, you know, when you wake up in jail and you don't know what you did and you find out what you did when you went to court.
I spent the 3 days in jail and had to do a treatment program.
Having my family come forward with all the money to post bail was a very shaming experience.
Never posted bail. My family always said, you know, you make your own bed, you sleep in it.
I had to have one of my friends post my bail.
I had to call my parents and tell them that I was in jail and that I needed them to post bail. And at the time, it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and there was really no place to get money, so they had to go and borrow it from a friend, which embarrassed them as well.
And the people I could get a hold of, they didn't have the money to post me out. So I had to spend all my time in jail.
When I was in the jail cell, I was sitting there thinking, I really don't want to call my parents.
It's not just yourself you have to worry about. You have to think of everybody involved.
I had to sit in a jail cell when I couldn't be with my family.
I've lost a lot of respect from family members. I've lost a relationship with my son, my 4-year-old son.
You don't just hurt yourself, you hurt your family as well.
My son, you know what I mean? Because that is what has affected me the most.
I was driving my mom's car, and my mom's car was impounded, and she had to pay to get it out.
There's a lot more to just drinking and driving. It's not just that act, you hurt a lot of people.
It hurt my family, not just me.
It is tough. It's hard on my family. It was hard on my kids. It's hard on my girlfriend.
Your brothers, sisters, your significant other, your kids.
And those are the important things in life.
Impaired driving is absolutely devastating. It destroys families and communities. It touches everybody's lives at one point or another.
You know, there's always cops out there. There's always going to be cops.
My name is Officer Steve Dunn. I work for the Anchorage Police Department. I'm currently assigned to the traffic unit, and I've been with the department about 15 and a half years. As far as DUI arrests, I've been involved in hundreds and hundreds of DUIs.
I'm Daniel Cox. I'm a sergeant with the Alaska State Troopers Bureau of Highway Patrol. I've been in law enforcement for 13 and a half years, and I've arrested hundreds of people for DUI.
My name is Perry Morgan. I work with the University of Alaska Anchorage Police Department. I've been a police officer for 11 years. Since my time serving as a police officer, I've been involved in hundreds of DUI arrests.
My name is Officer McCormick. I'm with the City of Wasilla. I'm a patrol officer. I've been with the City of Wasilla since 2007. I've arrested approximately 50 people for DUI.
My name is Jamie Hammonds. I'm an officer with the Palmer Police Department, and I've been on for 16 years. And the amount of people I've arrested for DUI is probably over 300 people.
My name is Gustav Olson. I'm an Assistant Attorney General. I'm a Special Prosecutor in the OSPA unit prosecuting Western Alaska alcohol interdiction and manufacturing. I've prosecuted over 2,000 DUI or impaired driving crimes in my career.
It affects you financially. It affects you personally.
You drink and drive, you're going to get caught sooner or later.
I lost my license.
I lost my license for
3 months, but it's been over 6 now, and I still don't have it back.
30 days.
For 3 years.
I ended up losing my license the last time for a total of 7 years.
10 years.
It took me 13 years to get my life together, get my license back again.
As far as personal, it, of course, sucks. It's hard to meet a girl when you don't have a ride.
My car was impounded, my license was revoked.
My car was
impounded.
Got auctioned off.
My car was totaled.
So someone else got to have my ride because I decided to drink and drive.
I rolled it twice. There wasn't a piece of glass left in it.
I never saw that car again.
As far as I know, after it left the tow yard, it went straight to the crusher.
And it's just not worth it.
This is a crime that will continue to impact your life as well as the lives of others for months and even years later.
Got to pay huge fines.
Consequences, I mean, it's a bunch of stuff. It's fines, really expensive fines, attorney fees, jail time, your license taken away, which is the big thing. It goes on your record.
So your bills pile up and they pile up, and you end up in debt, swimming in it.
I did lose my job as a result of my DUI.
Certain job opportunities were unavailable for me because of my DUI.
And it took some time to get another job.
It was hard to find a job without a driver's license.
Finding another job is almost impossible.
My career is on the line now because I'm unable to drive.
With a DUI on my record, it's become extremely difficult to obtain my driver's license and find employment that will support me.
As of now, I'm stuck working a job that I don't really want to work, but I have to because I'm unable to do my main career.
Well, impaired driving it's a huge issue, public safety issue, and more oftentimes than not, they result in severe consequences, deadly consequences.
There are safer and better ways to get around and enjoy yourself than driving after consuming alcohol.
Drinking and driving is highly avoidable. Not only impacts the individual who's been drinking and driving, it impacts the entire community.
And ultimately, alcohol can result in you making decisions that are so poor that they're going to impact you, your family, and the people around you, especially if you drive for a very, very long time.
If you decide to get into a car, there's a big chance that, you might kill someone.
Take in mind that when you get behind the wheel under the influence, that you're not only putting your life in jeopardy, but those around you. And the effect is a lot larger than just imprisonment or loss of license. It can affect families, kids, children, generations. I mean, the effects can be tremendous.
I am so glad I never killed anybody or never put anybody in the hospital. To have to live with that for the rest of my life would be awful.
I am so thankful that there was no one in the vehicle with me. I am doubly thankful that no other car was involved. And just the thought that I could have woke up and found out I killed somebody. I mean, that just, it really hit home. And it's the stupidest thing I could ever think of. You don't think of it at the time, but what happens when you're sitting in a jail cell for life because you didn't give the bartender your keys?
Having the understanding that I had, I could have hurt somebody is pretty sobering. And if you choose to do something like that, you're not just getting behind the wheel. You're taking risks not with just your life, but other people's as well.
You could hurt someone too. You could really hurt somebody if you were to be intoxicated and impaired and driving down the road. I mean, your vision's gone, your reaction time's gone. You could kill somebody. And I'm really lucky that I didn't.
If you're in a car impaired and you decide, okay, I'm going to go where I want to go because I feel like it, and you end up running into somebody or crashing, you've affected a lot of people.
My name is Faye McCrum, and all of a sudden, out of my peripheral vision, I see this car coming at me extremely fast and went, oh my gosh, he's going to hit me.
It's going to take longer for your brain to realize the hazard. It's longer for your brain to send messages to your body to react.
Did you see this one? This makes the 10th year since the car wreck in March. Before the crash, I had a studio that I had built from scratch, a photography studio. I was coming from the photo lab on 32nd, and I had just dropped off the film, turned on to Spenard, went down to Benson, turned right onto Benson, was headed down towards Kinko's on Northern Lights. About 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. It was just at the beginning of breakup. I can remember the streets were not slick. Get to that intersection, and all of a sudden, out of my peripheral vision, I see this car coming at me extremely fast and went, oh my gosh, he's going to hit me. Don't remember the hit. I don't remember. I've been told that the car spun, rolled, and slid across the street and went stop. The undercarriage of my car slid into the light pole. The next thing I know, I'm laying on my side, and people are running up to the car. Oh my gosh, are you okay? Are you kidding? And I hear someone say, are you kidding me? He left. I remember hearing my cell phone ringing. I remember wanting to try to get out. Everybody said, no, just stay there. Next thing I know, I hear a police officer identify himself and tell me that my daughter's on the way. I could hear my cell phone ringing, and apparently he had finally picked it up and told her where I was. And she came to the scene. The car was on its side, and I was hanging outside the window of the car. My right side was on the pavement, and I had been told afterwards that the only reason I was not crushed was my grandson's car seat. It flew out of the car and the van rolled on top of the child seat, which prevented the car itself from coming down and crashing and crushing me underneath the car. And then I found out that he was a drunk driver, and that within 4 or 5 days I'd found out I was his third DUI offense in 6 months. His license had been revoked for 3 years. 3 months prior, he'd been told, this is your second offense, you cannot drink, you cannot drive for 3 years. 3 months later, he spends all day and all night in a bar drinking. He gets into his car and he's going to drive home, and after the wreck, he saw the gentleman stop, look back, saw that what he had done, and then turned around and just drove off. So the guy behind me followed him home, then came back to the scene and told the police where he was. That's how they knew who had hit me. Otherwise, we'd have never known, because he just took off and drove off. And the next day, I could barely move. I was so sore, and as a result, I've had to close the studio down. It was something that I had built from the ground up over 20 years.
Love these.
Yeah.
Now, my days are, I just work from home, as I said. I might do 1 or 2 photo sessions for someone, and I do sewing for people outside of my home. I do a lot of alterations on wedding gowns, pageant gowns. He chose to go into that bar. He chose to drink. He chose to take his keys, leave the bar, get in the car, and drive. Because of his choices, my life changed. I'm not saying don't go out and have a good time. Go out and have a good time. Take a cab, call a friend, take a bus. Do something, but don't drive impaired. If you drive impaired, you're ruining your life and you're ruining other people's lives as well.
Well, my name is James Killingbeck. I was hit by a drunk driver April 26, 2007.
I'm Tammy Lajewski. My son's name is James Killingbeck Jr. He was hit by a drunk driver April 26, 2007 as he was headed home from work.
Just before the crash, I was actually just leaving work. I remember getting in my vehicle, starting it up, and next thing I know, I woke up in a hospital.
I know it sounds funny, but my child's a creature of habit, and at 10:47 he wasn't home from work, p.m., and he should have been home at 10:45.
I don't remember the actual crash.
And I called and texted his cell phone to no answer, called his employer, still no answer. I knew then that something was wrong. I had a gut feeling it was a car accident.
It's on and off. I remember being in the hospital and kind of flashes.
And around midnight, I got a phone call from the hospital stating that my son, James, was in the emergency room.
The first thing I really remember is waking up and being told I wasn't able to walk, bike, run, any of that anymore, and I really had no idea why. Just kind of a shock being told you can't walk and you have no idea why.
I couldn't honestly tell you too much more about that night. I blocked it out for some reason.
I do. Every day a new memory comes back of just like a childhood memory, like jumping on a trampoline with my friends or something like that. But it just kind of comes back in little fragments.
I tell people from the movie 50 First Dates how every day she had to be told who she was. I had to do that about 50 times a day. I was told to tell him when he woke up what his name was, where he was, how old he was, and that he was hit by a drunk driver. For the first approximately 4 days, it was the hardest because he did not know who I was. I remember asking him who his mom was, and he said some crazy lady, which I chuckled. And then I looked at him and I said, could I be her? And he looked at me straight in the face and he said, no. And I would say that was about the hardest moment.
I had to relearn literally everything, what it felt like to eat.
I was feeding him.
Going to the bathroom.
Take a bath.
You name it.
Blue, green, black, and then dog. He could not tell you which one did not belong in that category.
It was extremely challenging. I knew that before the car wreck, I had been able to do all of that. I'd known what everything felt like, but after the car wreck, I forgot it, and it was kind of frustrating, really. Like I knew how to do it, but couldn't grab hold of it.
I basically had a toddler.
For probably took about 2 years until I was really back up to where I was before the car wreck. I don't know, physically.
My son had dreams of joining the service. He can no longer join because of the 2 rods in his leg, mainly because of the head trauma.
I know it affected her, I'd say almost as much as me. She was just about as heartbroken as I was, having to be back at my side. It's basically like I was back in diapers again.
I don't know how to explain to somebody, and he hates when I say this, but when he left that morning, I made sure that I said, goodbye to my son and kissed him and have a good day. And I know he's alive and I have him, but he's not the same child that I said goodbye to that morning.
I was 16 when the car wreck happened, end of junior year.
We've been getting reacquainted the last 4 years.
Impaired driving is the most selfish thing I think a person can do.
It's like you said, it doesn't cost much to take a cab. It wasn't an accident that somebody came home and changed our lives forever. Forever.
It's so frustrating to have something taken from you and you really had no say in it at all.
He tells me that it was him that was injured. I may have not been physically injured. I was emotionally injured. I look at my son now, I can see the scars. I can see when he limps. I know that his left foot still doesn't have complete feeling in it. He's not the same child. He's got more of a temper.
It's not that hard to call a cab or call a buddy to pick you up. It's definitely not worth it.
I have no sympathy for anybody who gets a DUI. None whatsoever. I don't think they get enough punishment.
And it's totally not worth all the fines and trouble you have to go through getting a DUI.
It will get you nowhere.
And definitely not fair to the other person either.
I am Linda Hornstein, and I am the mother of Corey Hornstein Williams.
I'm Sally Dial, and my sister is Corey Ray Hornstein Williams.
My name is Allison Hurst. My friend Corey Hornstein Williams, we were involved in a car wreck.
And she was killed by a drunk driver December 6, 1996 at Tudor and Boniface.
She was my big sister. She would take care of me.
We were roommates. We worked together, and so we spent all of our time together.
She was feisty. She was little. I think she had to be. And she was a good person.
She was my mentor growing up.
And one day I was sledding down a hill with Sally, her younger sister, and I hear Corey yelling, "Mama, Mama, look!" And she was skating, and she had never had ice skating lessons, but through watching others, she taught herself, and she did a beautiful triple axel. And watching her skate was like listening to music.
I think ice skating was probably one of my fondest memories of my sister and favoriteest things I could possibly do with her. She taught me how to ice skate, like I was saying. She would teach me how to twirl and ice skate backwards, and it was great to be able to, call our parents over and be like, hey, look what I learned how to do, because, Corey helped me because she was very good at teaching me how to do things.
She was fun. She taught me how to line dance.
Her sister had spent the night with her, and I went to pick her up to take her to school. And I went into Corey's apartment she was renting with some other people. And Corey was laying on the sofa. She was on her back. And that was December 5th of '96. And she was laying on her back. And I sat down by her and attempted to kiss her on her left side by her eyebrow. And she kind of moved her arms around. And so I was frantically looking for a piece of paper. I wanted to leave her a note. And I was going to kiss her again, but I didn't want to wake her up. And so as we got to the door, I put my hand on the doorknob and I turned and looked at her. And something told me to go back and kiss her again. But I just told myself again, I didn't want to wake her up. And so that was in the morning.
I kind of wanted to stay home and relax, but Corey wanted to go out and have fun, so she decided, let's go play bingo.
I was spending the night at her house that night, and I was actually going to go out with them to go play bingo for a little bit, but I had an allergic reaction to the detergent that they used. I had taken a shower, used the wrong towel, and had to stay behind.
Our last conversation was 10 o'clock that night. And her sister was with her that night, and that was the last "I love you."
She gave me a kiss and told me she loved me, and kind of did the big sister head rub thing, and I was like, yeah, teenage girl wanting to talk on the phone, and she walked out the door, and she walks back in, and she was like, "Hey, I love you," and I was like, "I love you too," and we always do the "I love you" sign. And she kind of just smiled, and as she shut the door, I smiled because I knew she loved me. And I stood up and watched him drive away.
We were at Tudor Bingo, and we were turning from, I believe it's Dale Street, onto Tudor. One of the last things I can remember thinking is, if the traffic doesn't clear up to turn left, I'm just going to turn right and we're going to go the long way home. Well, traffic ended up clearing and we ended up turning left.
The next morning I got up, I was getting ready for work, and I got a knock at the door.
But I remember waking up to someone banging on the door and thinking, what, did they forget their key?
And it was a police officer.
I looked outside and saw the cop car, and I thought, oh my gosh, what did I do?
I asked him if this was about my girls, and he said yes. And I thought, okay, I can handle this, and I invited him in.
And they told me through the door to put the dog away, because they had a dog named Riot. And so I put him away, and I let him in.
And he asked me to put my 110-pound dog away, and I did. And I still wasn't getting it. And then he asked me to sit down at the table, and I did.
I can't tell you what happened. I don't really remember.
He proceeded to tell me that there was a terrible crash, and that my daughter Corey, along with another young woman, had been killed, and the driver, Allison, was in critical condition, and she was at the hospital.
I just remember feeling like somebody had kicked me in the stomach so hard.
I ended up on my knees in front of my kitchen sink, and I held my head. My head hurt so bad.
That day I lost so much. I lost my sister. I lost my best friend. I lost my mentor. I lost ever being an aunt.
I remember looking up at him and saying, oh my God, I can't believe it. My life is over. And yet I was still breathing. I was shocked that I was still breathing, and my heart was still beating.
I lost the fact that she would be there standing next to me at my own wedding.
The person that answered that door is not the same person that got up off that floor.
I lost the fact that she would hold her nieces in her arms, and that she would be able to look at me and say, "Sally, I'm so proud of what you've done."
I was going to bury a child.
I remember being in the hospital, and I can remember the netting that was all over my face, the windshield coming into the car at us, the rearview mirror came down and it fractured my cheekbone, so I had gauze on my face to cover the surgery that the surgeon had done. And I can remember them coming in and cutting that gauze off my face. I want to say it was the next day that my dad told me what had happened. It was very difficult for me to realize that she was gone.
I can honestly say I've never been the same since. And I still have problems sleeping.
Yeah, there was a lot taken from me. And I don't think I could ever truly describe or be able to measure what may have been. I just can't do it. It's next to impossible to measure that loss.
I try not to be selfish and think about what was taken away from me, because I'm still here. I still get to live my life. I get to have a husband, have a family, and she didn't.
Years later, I met one of the 2 officers that responded, that actually removed my daughter. A few years after that, I met the other officer, and that other officer told me that it was actually his birthday that night, and he told me, or that morning, and he told me that there was not one morning, one birthday, rather, it didn't go by that he didn't think of my daughter. Everyone that shows up, it affects them in some way. And those people that pick up that newspaper and they search that article as quickly as they can because they want to know if it's somebody they know, or they turn on the TV and they sit there and have to listen. It's a domino effect, and so it just doesn't affect that one person. It affects several lives, and it matters.
And the sad thing is that I didn't even have a choice in the situation. She didn't even have a choice in the situation. And that's the hardest part for me.
He really wasn't what we think of as a drunk driver. From everything that I've read, I've never met him, I've never spoken to him, but from everything that I've read and heard, he was just over the limit by blood and breath alcohol content. So he isn't the classical stumbling around drunk, but he was impaired. So my idea of impaired driving is not just somebody who's falling down drunk, but somebody who has been drinking, and whether it's socially or in abundance, and then they try to drive somewhere, because just a little bit of alcohol can impair your driving, can make it so that you don't have those quick reflexes that you should if you were so completely sober.
The more alcohol you have in your system, your ability to concentrate, your ability to react to hazards that may come about are greatly affected. Your reaction time is slowed.
Before you even have that first drink, you need a plan.
Well, what I like to say about impaired driving, that it's stupid and there's so many other options, and you need to think before you get into a car, and is this really worth it? And it's just not, is it worth it for you? It's the fact that you're putting other people's lives in jeopardy.
Drinking and driving is really not worth it. Just, if you're gonna drink, either have a ride set up already or pay the $20 for a cab.
You don't know. I mean, the car you hit could be your own sister or your own brother or your own mother or father or aunt or best friend, and is it really worth it? That would be my question.
Getting behind the wheel after you've been drinking is just not worth it.
There are options. I mean, you can call a cab, you can drink at home, you can stay wherever it is you are drinking if you're with a friend, or have a designated driver.
It's inconceivable that because we don't want to leave our car someplace, or we feel that we can make it home, that we would put ourselves and other people to that kind of risk.
Is someone's life really worth $20 when you just spent God knows how much on booze? Is it really worth it?
You know, it's not really even worth it to get behind that wheel if you've had one drink, because it's going to change your reaction time. And
because I know my sister's life was worth more than $20.
I just beg and plead, please think about it before you leave the house.
I just wish people would stop it. I wish people would listen to the seriousness of what is happening. It's not a joke.
Would I still have everything I should have had if he wouldn't have made that choice?
It ruined so many lives. So many lives.
My daughter's death certificate says she was murdered. He just used a big truck to do it.
Please, please, please learn from our mistakes and don't make the same. Take that time before you're getting ready to pick up the keys and drive. Take that split second to think, maybe I really shouldn't drive. And put your keys down, give them to a friend, hide them, throw them before you go out, do whatever you need to do. Just don't drink and drive.
Even 15 years later, there's a piece of my heart that will always be gone.
You know, I kind of had to learn the hard way, but maybe by watching this video, somebody out there might not have to learn the hard way. Maybe the message will get through. Don't drink and drive. It's a bad idea.
Impaired driving is a dead end.
Impaired driving is a dead end.
Impaired driving is a dead end.
Yeah, impaired driving is a dead end. You got nowhere to go. You're just gonna get caught.